The story starts with a nice lady named Seun. She likes a guy and wants to tell him she loves him with a letter, but when she sees another woman talking to him, she feels really sad and drinks a lot. Meanwhile, there's a guy named Kim at the beach enjoying the waves, ignoring his ringing phone. Soon after, Seun, who is drunk, thinks Kim is someone else and confesses her feelings to him, even kissing him and asking him not to leave. A year later, Seun is live streaming, reviewing a super yummy cake, which turns out to be from a restaurant called Saul, owned by Kim. She thought Kim made the cake. In another scene, Kim and his friends are getting ready to open their restaurant. Soon after, Seun shows up impressed by all the customers and cakes selling like crazy. She orders a cake too. When Kim sees her, he remembers what happened a year ago, but Seun doesn't remember anything. Kim's attitude annoys Seun, so her review of his restaurant ends up being really bad. Back at home, Kim remembers the time a year ago when he helped Seun, who was drunk, and she gave him a necklace. Meanwhile, Seun is on a video call with her older sister, talking about investigating Kim. At that time, she also misses her nephew, Ruru. The next day, Seun keeps following Kim until he catches her. She was trying to find out how Kim started making the girl under the moon cake because she's really curious about it. But Kim takes away her assessment paper. The following day, Seun meets Jenna, Kim's older sister. They talk about how to interview Kim because his restaurant, Saul, is really popular online for its food. If Seun can interview Kim about how he came up with the girl under the moon cake, it will not only promote Saul, but also make good content with high ratings. So, Jenna also supports Seun's plan. Later on, Seun goes back to Saul's restaurant. This time, she isn't there to eat cake, but to interview Kim. After putting in a lot of effort, she convinces Kim to tell her about what inspired him to make the girl under the moon cake. There, Kim explains that a year ago when he was feeling lost, he met a girl holding roses. She was drunk and poured her heart out, mistaking Kim for someone else. Seun listens carefully to his story. That evening, Seun realized that Kim's story sounded familiar. Her social media post about the girl and the cake under the moon garnered a lot of attention from her followers. The following day, Kim, Seun, Kim, and Jingyang met up. They arranged to visit the exact spot where Kim's story unfolded. Seun felt eager about the visit. Upon her unexpected arrival, she found Kim there too. He aided Seun by escorting her to an unoccupied room and carrying her luggage. Upon reaching the room, Kim got sidetracked and witnessed Seun drinking, triggering memories of their encounter a year ago. Later that evening, Kim awaited Seun at the same location as before, presenting her with a rose. This prompted Seun to recall vividly their prior interaction. She felt embarrassed, especially when Kim confessed his feelings for her. Subsequently, they returned to the hotel, but Kim playfully teased Seun, causing her to nearly stumble. He promptly assisted her, though Seun felt even more embarrassed and left abruptly, as did Kim. In her room, Seun pondered whether the girl under the mooncake was crafted because of her, yet she remained uncertain. Meanwhile, Kim's car broke down amidst heavy rain. Seun grew anxious and attempted to call him, but the call abruptly ended. Concerned for Kim's well-being, she hurried to locate him, fearing potential harm in the heavy rain. Eventually, Seun found Kim, who pretended to be asleep. She stayed with him until she drifted off, and Kim affectionately watched over her, draping a blanket over her. Upon awakening the next morning, Seun found Kim absent. He had departed to seek assistance and returned with food for her. Seun inquired once more whether their past encounter had inspired Kim to create the beloved girl under the mooncake, to which he indirectly affirmed. The subsequent day, Seun appeared content as she held the necklace Kim had bestowed upon her. Yet their shared story remained a secret between them. Later, Seun encountered Jenna, who expressed satisfaction as Seun had effectively fulfilled her task. The positive impact of Seun's social media posts on the company was evident. In another instance, both Seun and Kim received calls from the airport. It transpired that Ruru, whom they both knew well, was there unaccompanied. Surprised, they endeavored to persuade Ruru to accompany them. Ultimately, Ruru chose to accompany Kim, urging Seun to join them. Ruru was revealed to be Seun's nephew, the son of her elder sister. That evening, Seun conversed with her elder sister, inquiring why Ruru had flown alone. She learned of the custody dispute between her sister and her husband, who sought to shield Ruru from the conflict. Seun endeavored to reassure her sister that Ruru would be safe in her care. The day after, Kim takes Ruru to his restaurant and introduces him to his buddies, but no one pitches in to help with Ruru, so Kim has to handle it himself. He tries to ask Ruru something, but Ruru acts like he knows what Kim's about to ask. Ruru thinks Kim will inquire about what food Seun prefers, so he claims Seun only munches on instant noodles every day because she splurges on cakes. In another part of the story, Ruru is goofing around with Kim, but ends up playing in the chilly water, which gets Seun worried. Upon finding out, she urges them to head indoors. Shortly after, Jingyang pays a visit to Kim's pad and is taken aback to find Seun there, as she's the first lady Kim has brought home. But Ruru doesn't take to Jingyang, so Jingyang leaves a bit miffed. At that point, Seun attempts to whip up a meal for Ruru, but he ends up with a stomachache after eating it. Seun freaks out and rushes him to the hospital, feeling guilty. However, it turns out the food Seun made wasn't the culprit. It's the changing weather. The nurses caution them to be cautious with kids. Suddenly, Kim recalls something, but he keeps his feelings hidden from Seun in the hospital room. Kim suggests to Seun that they live together for Ruru's sake. Seun is taken aback, but realizes it's for Ruru's sake. So she moves in with Kim and Ruru. They receive a warm welcome, but Kim seems jittery and rushes off to work. Ruru's mischief embarrasses them both. Later, Seun and Ruru spruce up Kim's house. Meanwhile, Kim is at work when a colleague mentions they have new competition. Kim shrugs it off casually, unfazed. However, his co-workers find it strange when he comes home on time with a package of cakes, something he never did before. When Kim gets home, he's surprised to find his house filled with dolls, and Ruru is happily playing with Seun. He had brought the cakes for Ruru and Seun. Seun really enjoys the cake and shares about it on social media. She also notices a neatly kept rose, reminding her of the roses Kim had given her before, which boosts her confidence. Meanwhile, Kim is giving Ruru a bath, but Ruru keeps splashing water at him. Seun hears the commotion and takes Ruru away, asking Kim to clean up. Kim then casually starts undressing in front of Seun, making her briefly imagine his attractive body before coming back to reality. Shortly after, Seun nods off at the table. Kim notices and covers her with a blanket, then tidies up the roses. The next day, Seun surprises Kim by giving him a letter agreeing to live together with some conditions he had to agree to. They both nod, and Seun starts preparing breakfast, even though it's tough work. Throughout the day, Seun and Ruru played happily, putting a smile on Kim's face when he saw them. The next day, Kim watched a video of Seun and Ruru having fun, which made him grin. He had seen them on the CCTV he had set up at home. Seun, knowing about the CCTV, teased Kim, surprising him. His co-workers were getting more surprised by his home antics. Seun was taken aback by Jenna's arrival. Jenna was thrilled to hear that Kim had invited Seun to live with him. Turns out Jenna and Ruru were close, and Ruru teased Seun about marrying Kim. At that moment, Jenna thought Kim had other reasons for inviting Seun to live with him, but Seun assured Jenna that he didn't. Soon after, Kim called Seun for help delivering some notes he had left behind during their time together. Seun and Ruru had a blast with Kim, but then Ruru accidentally pushed Kim and Seun into a close position. That evening, Seun looked at the necklace Kim gave her, while Kim seemed lost in thought, playing with his phone. The next day, Seun and Ruru visited the restaurant and learned about another shop making cakes just like Kim's. One of Kim's co-workers accused Seun of leaking the recipe because she was the only other person who knew about their cake notes. Seun denied it, feeling disappointed as she left. Meanwhile, Ruru told Kim that in fights, men should give in. It started raining heavily, and Seun got soaked. Upon learning this, Kim quickly picked her up, but Seun was still upset because she didn't think she had leaked Kim's notes. Eventually, she chose to leave and told Kim not to follow, bringing back painful memories for him. At home, Kim made breakfast because Seun wasn't there anymore. Ruru stayed with Jingyang while Kim worked in the restaurant. They faced big challenges as hardly any customers came, which made them feel uninspired. At that moment, Kim was confident that Seun wouldn't do what his co-worker accused her of. Later, Kim and Ruru were at home when Ruru suddenly wanted to eat special eggs made by Seun. They tried calling her, but she didn't answer. In the evening, Kim visited but couldn't find Seun. Kim worried about Seun, but he didn't want to show it in front of his sister. Soon after, Kim rushed to Seun's house and found her sick. Then he took care of her, even though their relationship wasn't great. In that moment, Seun melted with Kim's tenderness, even kissing him and touching him, which made her embarrassed when she realized it wasn't a dream. The next day, Seun went to a restaurant that was suspected of copying Kim's cake recipe. Surprisingly, the owner turned out to be MO, the class president whom Shun once liked. Meanwhile, Kim's friend gave them information about where Shun was, making Kim believe that Shun leaked the recipe. Kim found out and hurried to follow Shun to the restaurant. Shun and Moo awkwardly chatted. Shun also asked about Moo's relationship with a girl named Leo. Turns out they're just friends. At that moment, it seemed like Moo wanted to tell Seon something, but she interrupted. Kim noticed their closeness, and Seon noticed him noticing, so Kim quickly joined them, pretending to be Seon's husband with a child waiting at home. Finally, Kim took Seon away from the restaurant. Outside, they argued again about Moo's restaurant copying the cake recipe. Seon still thought it might be a coincidence, but she was still mad at Kim for suspecting her of spreading the recipe. She tried to leave, but Kim stopped her. This made Seon happy, and they went back to Seoul restaurant to meet Ruru. At the restaurant, Ruru was very kind. He wanted them to live together again. Soon after, Seon had to leave, but then Ruru, who seemed to understand Seon and Kim's feelings, encouraged Kim to say something to Seon before she left. At home, Seon had just finished talking to her older sister when she looked at a necklace. Meanwhile, Kim was trying to find a way to persuade his angry girlfriend, but his idea from Google was terrible. Finally, he decided to ask for advice from an account on social media, which happened to be Seon's. Shortly after, Kim sent a video of Ruru missing his parents, so he asked Seon to come to Seoul to accompany Ruru. The next day, Seon came to Seoul's restaurant, and they got along really well again, making Ruru happy while baking cakes together. They even took photos together to remember the moment. Afterward, Seon went back to Kim's house to live there. When she arrived, she was delighted to see the cute sandals prepared for them. Seon got thirsty, and Kim seemed drawn to her. In the evening, Seon got a confusing message from her older sister, asking her to ask Ruru who he would choose between his parents. Seon couldn't bring herself to ask Ruru. Later, she went into Kim's room to turn off the lights, but he ended up having a nightmare. Seon comforted him, realizing he never turns off the lights when he sleeps. The next morning, Seon checked on Kim, who was okay. Then she asked if she could take Ruru out. She wanted to go to Moo's sweet restaurant. Seeing Seon so happy made Kim upset. He wondered if meeting Moo was really that enjoyable. At that moment, Seon and Moo were playing with Ruru. Seon asked about the cake from Sweet Restaurant, which looked just like Kim's cake. She even tasted it, and found that not only did it look the same, but it also tasted almost identical. However, Moo didn't actually copy or cheat with the cake. Meanwhile, Kim got annoyed when he accidentally cut the lemon carelessly. Later, when Seon remembered something about Kim's cake recipe, something happened to Ruru. Then she quickly called Kim to update him on Ruru's condition. Upon hearing that, Kim hurried to the hospital, looking very worried. But he didn't like it when the doctor referred to Seon and Moo as Ruru's parents. Eventually, they all went home together. However, Kim seemed to really dislike Moo. He even made Moo see how close he was to Seon on the way home. Kim became jealous again of their closeness to the point where Seon didn't want to talk to him. At that moment, Seon found Kim coming home drunk. Suddenly, Kim approached Seon and grabbed her shirt buttons, which surprised her. But it turned out he just wanted to help button her shirt. However, he then unexpectedly kissed Seon. This incident left Seon feeling embarrassed. The next day, Seon and Kim felt awkward and embarrassed because of what happened the previous night at Seoul's restaurant. It was finally revealed who leaked the cake recipe. It was Ben, who made the cake for his girlfriend and explained it in detail. He tried to take responsibility and investigate the matter. Meanwhile, Jenna was about to be harassed by her co-workers, but Jingyang managed to save her. When they got home, Jingyang felt guilty for being rude to Jenna. However, Jenna kissed him because she missed him. They almost enjoyed the night together, but Kim's presence interrupted them. Meanwhile, Seon was really upset because Kim didn't come home. She even found herself talking to the necklace Kim gave her and almost throwing it away. It turned out Kim stayed overnight at Jenna's house because he had kissed Seon that night. Jenna, knowing what happened, advised Kim to be honest about his feelings. The next day, Kim came home and saw Seon sitting in the living room. The atmosphere was still tense, so Kim stayed quiet while Seon went to the study room to avoid him. In there, she messaged an account called Gods, unsure if it belonged to Kim. She asked about what happened between them, but there was no clear response. The account suggested that the man definitely liked the woman he kissed, but Seon didn't fully believe it because Kim rarely smiled at her. From then on, Kim started smiling a lot, which made Seon suspicious. Even Ruru noticed Kim's forced smile. Later, Seon asked a question that triggered bad memories for Kim because about the difference in love between parents and choosing between them. Unintentionally, he left his phone in front of Seon, and after that, Seon sent a message to someone called Gods. The notification popped up on Kim's phone, revealing that he had been the one messaging her all along. Seon felt silent for a moment, but also happy knowing that Kim liked her, however, couldn't help but feel frustrated, realizing how her actions didn't maintain her image well while learning to cook. She even imagined Kim approaching her and kissing her. The scene shifted at home. Kim, Seon, and Ruru were having dinner together there. Seon still felt awkward, and Kim revealed who leaked his restaurant's cake recipe after dinner. Seon tried to show how hard-working she was, but Ruru interrupted. Then Seon teased Kim by wearing revealing clothes and insisted on helping him tidy up, which led to them accidentally falling with Seon on top of Kim. Ruru almost saw what happened, but Jenna and Jingyang managed to distract him. Seon and Kim felt embarrassed and awkward. At that moment, Kim came home from work and found Seon asleep in the study room. He covered her up and got a bit mad when he saw that Seon had written an article about cakes from Sweep Restaurant. The next day, Seon went to Seoul Restaurant to try the new cake. She found something unique about its taste and kept glancing at Kim, which made him smile soon after Kim approached her. And Seon asked about the cake story, trying to charm him, until he agreed to let her continue writing articles as usual. With her persuasive ways, she got Kim to share the cake story, but it revealed his jealousy, making him embarrassed in another scene. Seon hung out with her old friends, including Moo. They chatted and Seon drank a lot. Getting drunk, Movioe wanted to confess his feelings, but Seon already liked Kim, even if she answered him while intoxicated. Shortly after Kim picked up Seon at that time, she felt dizzy in the car, so Kim carried her home in her drunken state. Seon told him that she knew he liked her when Kim asked if she liked him too. Seon passed out the next day. Seon acted very cute, pretending someone was in front of her. Unknowingly, Kim and Ruru saw her behavior later. They went out to meet Ruru while they were sitting together. A girl tried to approach Kim quick, thinking Ruru pretended Kim and Seon were his parents, making Seon jealous. Then she gave Kim a gift. Shortly after, Seon got a message from her older sister, saying Ruru would have to return with her, making Seon sad. On the way home, Kim looked at the gift Seon gave him, and she asked if she could come to his restaurant to learn more about making sweet cakes. Kim agreed. On the flip side, Seon meets Jenna. They chat about Seon's work, and Jenna always shows concern for Kim, and Seon asking about their relationship progress at restaurant. Seon starts learning to bake cakes with Kim, and they seem really happy. Then they head home. Kim keeps an eye on Seon as she focuses on her article. It turns out she's writing about their day, and they both end up blushing. Later, Kim goes home and prepares lots of candles to watch a movie with Seon. They still seem awkward, but Seon starts feeling confident that Kim will confess his feelings. She imagines romantic moments between them. In reality, Seon gets annoyed because Kim can't assign on a movie, ruining the atmosphere. Shortly after, Ruru suddenly screamed in fear from a bad dream, feeling like a burden to his parents. This brought back traumatic memories for Kim, who had been mistreated by his own mother in the past. After Kim's mental health improved, he returned to Ruru's room with Seon. They both knew Ruru would soon return to his parents, since the relationship had improved, but Seon looked sad to part with him. The next day, Ruru had breakfast with Kim, and he acted as a mediator to help Kim and Seon start dating, though his words weren't exactly what Kim and Seon wanted to hear. Ruru's efforts successfully led to them dating. Finally, Kim and Seon went on their first date, starting at the archery range, where Kim taught Seon. Turns out practicing archery brought them closer together. Kim also taught Seon boxing, which confused her, thinking, is this what dating like? Later, Kim took her to the beach, singing a song for her in the evening. They had dinner together, and he wanted to say something to Seon, but suddenly the lights went out. Finally, Seon gathered the courage to ask Kim to talk. Kim expressed how happy he was with Seon and Hee-dee. She could understand him better. However, Seon hoped Kim would confess his love to her. Since things didn't go as expected, she quickly suggested they go pick up Ruru later. Seon received a call from her mother. She had been lying to her parents about her job as a food vlogger, because they didn't approve. However, she loved her job, and explained to Kim why, showing him her posts. Then suddenly they got so caught up that they didn't realize how close they were, and Seon's nose touched Kim's cheek. When they got home, Seon felt sad to part with Ruru, and Kim felt the same. Seun didn't leave the house that day, and Ruru understood she was upset, so he tried to convince her to go out with him. Finally, they went for a walk, looking very happy together. Ruru cleverly made Seun and Kim touch each other repeatedly. Later, Seun and Kim packed Ruru's things unexpectedly. Ruru expressed his hope to play with his future sibling when he returns. This made Seun laugh, and Kim was surprised by his nephew's words when Ruru left Seun. And Kim packed his toys feeling sad, and missing him, Seun had to leave too, now that Ruru was gone. However, Kim wanted her to stay. Misunderstanding arose because Kim thought Seun didn't want to live with him anymore, while Seun thought Kim was pushing her away. At that time, Seun reached out to her older sister to ask about Ruru, who also inquired about Seun's relationship with Kim. Her sister suggested that Seun distance herself from Kim to see if he'd miss her proving his true feelings at restaurant. Kim seemed burdened, even feeling dissatisfied with the cakes he made. This continued at home, where he lacked the courage to meet Seun, who was waiting for him to show care. The next day, Seun found breakfast with a note from Kim, saying he had to leave for business. This frustrated Seun further, especially with the issue of Kim leaving first. Shortly after she noticed Kim's notebook on the table, curious she read it, and discovered that each cake he made had its own story, including their own story together. Afterwards, Seun went to see Kim. She asked if Kim really liked her and why he never expressed his feelings. Kim reassured Seun that Kim did like her but needed time to express it. Meanwhile, Kim visited a place where he met friends, each dealing with their own struggles. In another scene, Seun found herself in a beautiful place, unexpectedly encountering Moo. Back in her room, she felt very sad about her situation and confided in Jenna, expressing her intention to move out of Kim's house. Soon after Jenna and Jingyang met Seun, Kim revealed that Kim was suffering from depression and excessive panic disorder. Learning this saddened Seun as she realized why Kim hadn't expressed his feelings for her. In another moment, Seun encounters Moo again. They reminisce about a year ago when Seun wanted to confess her love to Muo, but decided against it upon learning Muo's plans to lead the country. Seun also expresses admiration for Kim, which makes Muo regret not noticing Seun's feelings before at that time. They both hoped for a happy future. Meanwhile, Kim meets with his doctor, requesting a reduction in his medication due to recent Kim. Afterward, he contacts his older sister, expressing his desire for a normal life and sharing that he's improving. Kim, upon hearing this, is overjoyed, feeling moved, as Kim is her only family. Later, Kim rushes home to meet Seun, who is also trying to meet him. However, upon arriving home, Kim finds Seun's room empty, unaware that she has left the house. He quickly contacts her to inquire about her whereabouts. Upon realizing Kim hurried back to Seun when they finally met. Kim was about to express his feelings, but Seun anticipated it and kissed him first. From that moment, they became a couple and went home together despite feeling awkward. At first, they gradually grew closer. Sand even sat on Kim's lap, and they shared kisses during a work discussion with Kim Yu-kim, faithfully accompanied Seun. At that time, Jenna was surprised by Seun's influence on her little brother and curious about their new romantic relationship, which made them both awkward. Later, they visited Seoul restaurant, where Kim's colleagues were surprised to see them holding hands. Kim proudly displayed their affection in front of his co-workers in the evening back home. Seun wasn't feeling well and became quite dependent on her boyfriend. Despite this, she still teased Kim, who found himself tempted by her. The following day, Seun received a surprising call from her mother, informing her that both her parents were planning to visit. This news sent Seun into a panic, prompting Kim to inquire about her distress and explained about her parents' impending visit. But Kim reassured her that everything would be all right shortly after Seun's parents arrived at Kim's home, eager to discuss something with him. Kim graciously attended to them, revealing that he was merely a close friend of Seun's sister's husband, akin to brothers. However, Seun suddenly declared Kim as her boyfriend, leaving him stunned along with her shocked parents. To ease the situation, Kim clarified that they slept in separate rooms, despite living together. Surprisingly, Seun's parents seemed to approve of their relationship. Meanwhile, Sean's parents were tidying up a Kim house by chance. Seun's mother stumbled upon depression medication, sparking concern for her daughter's well-being. However, she mistakenly assumed the medication belonged to Kim. During this time, Seun met with Kim feeling sad, as she shared her feeling of lying to her parents about her job. Surprisingly, Jenna took the initiative to suggest a family dinner and meeting between the two families. In the evening, they gathered for dinner, as planned. Seun's parents appeared to genuinely accept Kim and Jenna. After dinner, Seun's mother approached Jenna to ask about Kim's depression. Fortunately, there were no objections from Seun's mother, who simply left a message for Kim to take good care of Seun. On the flip side, Jingyang was deeply focused on playing games, when suddenly there was a knock on his door. It was Jenna, and she came in pretty aggressively, kissing Jing Yang non-stop. This led to them spending the evening together once again. Afterward, Jing Yang put a ring on Jenna's finger to show he wanted their relationship to be more serious, but Jenna turned him down. She still wanted to keep their relationship secret, because she was worried about Kim feeling lonely. She didn't want him to feel left out, since he and Soon might not stay together. At restaurant, Kim gets a call from Soon at that time. Soon seemed a bit annoyed, because Kim forgot to wake her up, which led to their parents finding out they had slept over together to add to it. The next day, Kim and Sean were strolling in the park when they spotted Soon's parents returning from shopping. Seeing them made Sean realize that his parents were getting older. After returning home, Sean gathered the courage to honestly talk to her parents about his job. At first, Soon's confession made his father angry, but it turned out his parents already knew the truth before this. Sean's father had asked Kim for the truth, and Kim managed to make him understand. Things got better, and Sean's parents even gave him a gift. The closeness of the family. Deep moved Kim. They then had dinner together, and in that moment Kim felt the true warmth of family. During that time, Kim thanked Soon for giving him the warmth of family. His gratitude wasn't just in words, he planned to express it by baking cakes. Soon in turn thanked Kim for his kindness and planted a kiss on his cheek. The next day, Soon wrote a beautiful article about Kim's latest cake creation and playfully teased him in a voice message, prompting him to move away from his co-workers to respond. Later, at home, Soon surprised Kim with a white rose, reminding him of a memory from a year ago, which he brushed off as a joke. Kim asked Soon to write a love letter, but he didn't accept any of her attempts, teasingly suggesting he was jealous. While Soon was writing an article, Bibin informed them about their restaurant's reputation being targeted online. Kim tried to handle the situation. In the evening, Soon loved Kim's messy cake, and Kim playfully licked cream off her lips, leaving her stunned. The next day, false rumors about Seoul restaurants spread on social media, including gossip about Kim, Jenna, Soon, and Jing Yang. Kim was furious, and the stress triggered his illness. Jenna, Jing Yang, and Soon were worried as Kim's phone was unreachable. Soon went to the beach to find Kim, cheering him up and reminding him he wasn't alone. Kim smiled, and Soon held him tightly. Later, they met Jenna, who was concerned about Kim. He apologized for causing her worry, and Soon and Jing Yang saw the siblings' warmth. The next day, Jenna confronted the person spreading fake news, making him promise to stop. Soon informed Kim that his parents were worried after seeing the news, and her parents sent a reassuring video. Soon encouraged Kim, promising to always be by his side. That night was filled with love for Soon and Kim. Meanwhile, Jenna suddenly felt sick and asked Jing Yang to get her a test, which confirmed she was pregnant. Jing Yang was overjoyed and ready to marry Jenna anytime, and she wasted no time proposing to him. In another scene, Kim woke up to find that Soyeon had prepared breakfast for him, which he appreciated, even though she didn't cook it herself. They enjoyed a morning together before heading to Seoul restaurant, where they were warmly greeted by Kim's colleagues. Kim bravely went live to set the record straight about the rumors surrounding him and his restaurant. Afterwards, Soon and Kim enjoyed an evening at the beach, looking very happy. As the morning sun rose, Kim proposed to Soyeon, and she said yes without hesitation. A little while later, Kim's co-workers gathered outside Seoul restaurant, and Soon and Kim joined them. Suddenly, Ruru returned to visit her adopted father and aunt because her parents were fighting again. Finally, they were all reunited, like a complete family.